Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. It's me, Antonio, back with another video this evening for you guys. So been having some projects, researching a few things. Of course, I like to look up my definitions online, still something that I learned as a child. So not sure if you're familiar with my chakra videos. I have a handful of playlists up on my channel now. I put a few of my videos in certain categories so that you can easily locate them and play them, whether all together or in a different series. I have them set up in. So I do have my 7 chakra network series. Check it out. I don't know, maybe about a good half hour long, not too sure. So I had a bright idea a month back to contrast the idea of the seven chakra networks with the 7 deadly sins. Of course, we know God's last will and testament were the 10 commandments. They were simplified into the 7 basic deadly concepts or sins that distract man. So finally wanted to get into something for you guys this evening. I've been really holding back on it for whatever reason. I felt really fired up about it. I just haven't been able to get into it, but Spirit has moved me this evening to get into some more more motivational, some more educational concepts outside of the things that we learn in school, esoteric practices and everything. Things that you may not necessarily believe in that believe in you, hence that's why you're here in the first place. So with the 7 deadly sins, I wanted to start off with lust. Lust is one of the most basic human instincts. Lust actually derives from a German or Dutch word, delight or pleasure. I would compare lust, one of the 7 deadly sins, with the chakra network, the sacral chakra. The sacral chakra has everything to do with your sexual energies, your sexual desires, your creativity, sexual ways of expression and things like that. So of course you already know some things about the sacral chakra, but when it comes to lust, another one of those ideas or concepts that you may not normally see on a daily basis, but it actually affects you just like the sacral chakra affects you, coming from the root chakra, or which is grounding, which is the basic level of survival. As long as you can eat and sleep and things like that, the basic bare necessities, then we go up to the sacral chakra, which would be your sexual desires and your sexual motivations and things like that. The reason why how we all were created on this planet in the first place, through your sexual energy, your groins, your nether regions. Feminine has theirs and the masculine has theirs. So spiritual energies and spiritual aspects. So leading back to lust, which if you look up lust in the dictionary, it's just a very strong desire. It could be sexual. That's normally what they would indicate, a strong sexual desire, or just a strong desire to have something, is what lust represents. But just like all these universal energies and lessons, guides and things like that help us figure out what's going on around us in this world, lust isn't such a bad thing. It isn't, when you think of the 7 deadly sins, people automatically think of bad things. But again, my philosophy is you have to be a well-rounded person to experience life, even death. You have to experience both good and bad things to become a well-rounded person. So without lust, or without the sacral chakra energies, without those that sexual energy or reproductive organs, we wouldn't be able to multiply, or we wouldn't be able to expand, or we wouldn't be able to express certain creative desires that we have. Aleister Crowley, try not to name drop or mention some of these these names and ideas that have come and go. Albert Einstein, Hitler, Nikola Tesla, George Washington Carver, James Baldwin, Aleister Crowley. These different people all contributed to humanity and their own different way. Whether they sacrificed themselves through destructive practices like Crowley did. He believed in 666 and Luciferians and communicating with angels and demons and all that, through your sexual chakra, your sexual desires. He was one of the fathers in promoting alcohol and drugs, mainly marijuana, cocaine, and things like that, to delve into higher aspects of yourself. Of course, he was into all types of crazy, deluded sexual acts. And this is not anything new under the sun, because we know if anything that's been going on with Hollywood and the Vatican for over the past 2,000 years, that there were weird sexual deviant acts performed on the most enlightened, or the most I forgot the word, when you come into this world pure without any sin or anything like that. Hence is why there's a black market for kidnapping and all types of missing children and things like that. The most pure of us, the virgins and whatnot, things like that. Again, I tell stories about the oracles and the psychics and the seers who were all virgins, and then when they had sex, they lost their power. There's a certain divinity that comes with virgins and things like that. Hence why there's different principles like the sacral chakra and lust. We want to practice temperance. We can't have someone going out and just sleeping with everybody under the sun. That's disgusting, first of all. And then you just get energies. You just get multiple energies wrapped up into all types of spiritual entanglements. You create generational curses, bad karma, things like that. They call them psychological diagnosis or psychiatric diagnosis or things like that, all types of medical conditions. But these are spiritual vampires. These are spiritual attacks. These are simple ideas and concepts that we should be mindful of, that if we practice every day, because with repetition, mastery is granted to you. When knowledge is common, when things that didn't seem so extraordinary becomes ordinary, the magic dissipates, and you get to see things for what they really are. So that's all I wanted to talk to you guys about today. Wanted to go ahead and get this series of the seven not the seven chakra networks, the 7 deadly sins started for you guys this evening. How fitting it is, the evening, nighttime right now. I'm trying to look up at the moon, but the clouds are covering the moon. I get to see it every now and then. It peeks out, but yeah. So be mindful. Be aware of these different practices or energies, that definitely have an input or an output on your own personal life, whether you want to believe it or not. But yeah, so the 7 deadly sins, the lust. We'll see where we end up next. When I did the 7 chakra networks, it wasn't really in order. It wasn't really from the bottom to the top or from the top to the bottom. I just read randomly. So I guess it's similar to how we're going to be doing the 7 deadly sins. I didn't necessarily start at the worst or the best or the top or the bottom, but I definitely would contrast the sacral chakra with lust. Both sacral energies, both creative energies. There's a dark side and there's a light side. connected with these different energies. So, there's a whole life path. There's a whole blueprint to these things. I'll be explaining more of the concepts and these things, these ideas that I've been contemplating over the past half year, through my whole spiritual experience and things like that. The sacred masculine, divine feminine, light workers, people that are able to show the path, that are able to heal people, that are able to disseminate knowledge to the people and things like that. People that's focused on healing the world versus, those of us that tend to walk a different path sometimes, the shadow workers. People that are not so focused on healing the world. They focus on healing themselves, healing their wounds, dealing with generational karma, expelling generational curses and patterns and things like that. Just focusing on yourself, because you can't help yourself, or you can't help the world until you help yourself. So there's always going to be that fine line between light and dark, shadow and light. Started to write down these concepts more often. I may indeed be able to write a book or produce a film one day on intuitives, empaths, and things like that, shadow workers, light workers, healing yourself, healing other people, things like that. Realizing all these different concepts and all these different signs and numerology, and just, angels communicating with you, colors communicating with you, animals communicating with you. So it's going to be a very interesting next series. Hopefully you enjoyed the first video to the 7 deadly sins. Again, lust. Check out my Instagram, check out my Twitter, check out my Facebook. It's going to be Black Tonio AW or Black Tonio Views if you're going on my Facebook or my YouTube channel. But you guys be safe and have a good one.